Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl Daisy, the hostess with the mostest. And I got up bright and early this morning, turned on my laptop, and I received an email from Alpha Shooters that the Sony A7S III is now ready for that 2.0 firmware update. That's the one that's going to include the S-Cinetone that we've all been dying to give a try on our cameras. So I'm super excited. I'm a little leery because I'm always afraid of camera firmware updates, and I'm hoping that everything goes well. So if you hold my hand, I'll hold your hand, and let's start the process to see if I can get that firmware on the camera. So come on, hold on to your knickers, and let's give it a try. So this is the link to the email that I got this morning from Alpha Shooters. And if you're not familiar with Alpha Shooters, they are fantastic. Anything that has to do with Sony and the Alpha line of cameras, you get all the news you can use here first. So if you haven't subscribed to either their blogs or their forums, this is a great resource because they basically tell you anything that comes across new for your Sony line of cameras. And as you can see here, I'm at their page where they're letting me know that the Sony A7S III, the firmware update 2.0, is now available. And like I said, they're a really great site, guys. Here's the latest firmware info, right? And it tells you that this adds the S-Cintone Picture Profile, as well as supporting the setting for steady shot to active during movie recording with the S&Q, which is the slow and quick mode. So you're also going to get that feature with this firmware update. And if you scroll down here a little bit, they tell you what the benefits and improvements are. So you can see that here. And here's the link right here for the US Sony support download. Now, even though it says at time of posting, the 2.0 is not yet available on the US site, yes, it is available on the US site. So go ahead and hit that link, and it'll take you then to this page. Oops, sorry guys. It'll take you to this page, and as you can see here, this is the model number for the Sony A7S III, and I'm now on the Sony official site for the download, and it tells you here it's going to add the picture profile, which is going to be P11 S-Cinetone, right? And this is where you would download the file. And Sony tends to hold your hand a little bit good, guys. So, I feel a little confident. Their directions and instructions here are pretty self-explanatory. They tell you, previous benefits and improvements, the new benefits and improvements, file name, file size, all of that technical jargon. And then they start off by letting you know how to prepare, to bring this thing over to your camera. So again, make sure that you're familiar with which Windows you're running if you're doing it from Windows. I am. I have a Windows 10 on my laptop here. So that's my operating system. You should also first check on your Sony to see what version is already on your Sony A7S III. So you would go to that little toolbox thing, and then it'll tell you what version you're on. I was on the 1.0, but it looks like they had already moved up to 1.01. And I don't really have to worry, excuse me, about getting that because the new firmware will take care of anything that came previous to that. So just make sure that, take a look at what version you're on. So after you do all of this, you'll be able to see that, hey, I had the old version, now I got the new version. So again, here's the operating system requirements, computer hardware, and then definitely this is very important. Always use a fully charged battery. So make sure that your battery is fully charged before you start this, because according to them, sudden loss of power may render the camera inoperable. And those are words that we like never really want to hear, especially with a camera that costs as much as the Sony A7S III. Then you have to remove the memory cards. So get rid of the memory cards. I had two of them on my camera. So you remove the memory card from the camera. And this is where I found it a little weird because on my Canon line of cameras, the SL2 and the mirrorless RP, whenever I do a firmware update on that camera or those cameras, uh, Canon has me put the firmware on the SD card and then download it to the SD card and then put the SD card in the camera. But Sony, I guess they don't do it that way. You have to remove the memory card and then get the cable that was supplied with your camera because that's what you're going to need to bring this firmware over. So then it says prevent your camera from entering sleep mode, and it says do not connect the camera to any other devices except your computer. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. And then now, you get the how to download the updater, download the file. And don't forget, guys, that this was important. Before I started, I went back to the little toolbox here, and under USB connection, you have to change that to mass storage. So that's important. So take out the SD cards, go hit the menu, and change that to mass storage under the little toolbox menu, because that's what you're going to have to do to bring this over. And then you start the download process. And when that first window opens up after you start the procedure, you're going to check here. It's going to tell you your current version, and then it's going to tell you the version that it's going to upgrade to. So basically, you hit next, right? If you already have version 2, obviously you don't have to do it. But if you don't, then go ahead and proceed. So pretty straightforward, right? And then after, then you restart your camera, and hopefully you have the new firmware update. So let me just go ahead and start doing this, and then I'll show you my camera, and hopefully keeping my fingers crossed that everything went okay. Okay, so be back in a sec. So let's see if this thing worked, all this nerve-wracking experience stuff. So as you can see, I have the Sony A7S III. I'm already in the setup menu, which is the one with the little toolbox icon all the way over here on the bottom, right? And now I'm going to go ahead and start coming down to find the version. And that's over by the setup option. And just bear with me, guys, because I'm using the little Lumix G100 today, and really feeling this setup. It's lightweight, compact. I've got the Leica 12mm 1.4 on this, and I'm absolutely loving it. But that's another video. Okay, so once you're at the setup option, then you're going to come one over again, right? And then you're going to scroll down to where it says version. And there she is. That's my version. 2.0. Hooray, I didn't blow up the camera. Okay, so as you can see, that worked. So now let's get out of there and go find the picture profile, which is under exposure. So now I have to go back to exposure tab and then come over. And under the exposure tab, it's the one that's called color tone. And that's where the picture profiles are kept. And as you can see, I already have the P11. That's the new profile. And if I hit it and then come one over, there she is. That's your S-Cinetone Picture Profile. Hooray! I got it. So that's good news. And I'm assuming you can tweak this to make it your own. But I've heard that this profile right out of the box is, you can record some great videos just by using this. But we shall see. So thank goodness that went extremely well. Better than I expected, truth be told. And I don't think anybody's going to have too much of a headache if you follow the step-by-step directions over on the Sony site. Prepare your camera, charge the battery, get rid of the SD cards. I don't think that you should have any problem bringing over this 2.0 firmware that includes the S-Cinetone. Now, that being said, I visited my Facebook group. I have a group that I joined that they do everything Sony A7S III. And there was a few people that were experiencing like issues, like the camera was inoperable, they didn't get the correct settings, whatever it was. So there was a few people with issues, which is why I'm always leery about bringing over these firmware updates, but seems to have worked great, as you guys saw. And I'm looking forward to using the S-Cinetone as soon as I can figure out, that camera. It's a learning process for me, coming from the Canon line of cameras. Like I said, I'm shooting this whole video with my Lumix G100. I got the Leica 1.4 12 millimeter. So the little Lumix has been doing great. I love it because it's small, it's compact, and I just love it. But anyway, like I said, that's another video. But getting back to the S-Cinetone, since it was rumored that Sony was going to release this in a firmware update, I ran across a channel a couple of days ago, and there's a gentleman called Extra Shot. I'm going to leave the link down in the description below to his channel, or a card up here somewhere. And this gentleman actually developed his own picture profile with his own settings that are supposed to be pretty close to what the S-Cinetone gives you. I actually used his settings in my custom number 3 button on the Sony, and I haven't tried it yet. But yeah, supposedly he really nailed his version of the S-Cinetone. But I guess now we have the firmware update. So I'm going to do a video comparing his version and the S-Cinetone we just got with this software update. But yeah, we shall see. But anyway, hope this helped. And that you're not afraid to bring over that firmware. Like I said, follow the instructions really good, step by step. And I don't think you should have an issue. So that being said, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so I can continue to do these videos, and more is going to be coming when I get, to be more of an expert with this camera that you see here behind me. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification, and that way you'll know every time I upload a new video. Okay, so that's it for now. Hope this helped, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.